Hey there, you looking kinda cute. Please consider subscribing and check out our Patreon for more. Enjoy the video. My name is Taylor and I work in construction. Life at the site was tough, especially with my size. I was bigger than most of my coworkers, which made me an easy target for their jokes. Every day it was the same routine. Wake up, go to work, endure the laughter and stares, and come home exhausted both physically and emotionally. One evening, after a particularly rough day, I stood in front of my mirror. Staring back at me was a man who felt trapped in a life that didn't seem to fit. That's when I decided to do something that always brought me a sense of comfort, something that most people didn't know about me. I decided to cross-dress. I rummaged through my closet, pushing past the usual work jeans and flannel shirts until I found what I was looking for, my collection of women's clothing. I carefully picked out a dress. It was a beautiful piece, floral print with a flowing skirt, perfect for my plus-size figure. Finding clothes that fit me and made me feel beautiful was a challenge, but over the years I had gathered quite a collection. Next, I moved on to makeup. I had learned to do it by watching countless tutorials online. I started with foundation, blending it over my face to create a smooth base. I then moved on to eyeshadow, choosing soft pinks that made my eyes pop. The transformation was therapeutic. With every brush stroke, I felt the day's stress fading away. Mascara was next, followed by eyeliner, which I applied with a steady hand. I admired the precision of the lines, a stark contrast to the roughness of my day job. Lipstick was the final touch. I chose a vibrant red, a bold choice that always made me feel confident. I stepped back and looked at myself in the mirror. The person staring back was different from the Taylor who had come home from work. She was confident, unafraid, and ready to take on the world. It was in these moments, dressed in the clothes that made me feel most like myself, that I found a small respite from the challenges of my daily life. Slipping on a pair of heels, I practiced walking back and forth in my small apartment. Heels were tricky, but I had gotten better with practice. The sound of the heels clicking against the floor was like music to my ears, a far cry from the heavy, dragging steps I took at the construction site. Completing the outfit with a pair of earrings and a matching necklace, I took one last look in the mirror. I was proud of what I saw, a feeling that was rare these days. In these moments, away from the judgmental eyes of my coworkers, I could be who I truly wanted to be, even if just for a little while. As the evening wore on, I spent time in my apartment, enjoying my own company. I cooked dinner, danced to my favorite songs, and watched a movie, all while fully dressed. It was a simple night, but in my dress and makeup, I felt a sense of normalcy and peace that was hard to come by in my everyday life. The clock struck late, and I knew it was time to get ready for bed. Reluctantly, I began the process of removing my makeup, changing back into my regular clothes. As I wiped off the last traces of lipstick, I felt a sense of loss, but I reminded myself that this wasn't the end. That Saturday, I decided to do something different. I wanted to go out, not just stay at home. Dressed as my true self, I would go to a club. I had never done this before, and I was nervous, but excited. After getting ready, I looked in the mirror. I wore a purple dress that was both pretty and comfortable for my plus size. It had small, shiny stones on it that sparkled when I moved. I chose simple makeup this time, just enough to make me feel special. Putting on my comfortable shoes, I took a deep breath and left my apartment. The club was loud and full of bright lights. People were dancing and laughing. I felt out of place at first, standing alone. But soon I started to move to the music. It felt good to dance and forget about work and the teasing. While I was dancing, a group of people came over. They were smiling and invited me to join them. They didn't care about my size or who I was. We danced together for a long time. It was fun, and I felt happy being with them. After the dancing, we all sat down and talked. They were really nice and asked me about my life. I was careful not to say too much about my work or my other life. We laughed and shared stories. It was nice to have friends who liked me for who I was at that moment. One of the girls in the group, whose name was Sarah, seemed really kind. She had a big smile and laughed a lot. Before we all left, she asked for my phone number so we could keep in touch. I was excited to have made a new friend. When I got home, I was tired but happy. I had never had so much fun going out. I changed back into my regular clothes and went to bed thinking about the great night I had. The next day, Sarah texted me. She said she had a great time and wanted to meet again. She suggested we go to the mall together for a fun day out. I was nervous but said yes. I had never gone shopping for women's clothes with someone else before. We met at the mall, and Sarah was just as nice as she was at the club. She helped me pick out clothes that looked good on me. We tried on lots of different outfits. Some were too small, but we found many that fit just right. Sarah also showed me how to pick makeup that suited my face. She was really good at it. We even went to a salon where she helped me choose a new hairstyle. It was a wig that looked very real and made me feel pretty. We spent the whole day trying on clothes and laughing. I bought a few things that I really liked. It was fun to have someone who understood and helped me feel good about myself. At the end of the day, Sarah and I sat down for ice cream. We talked about all sorts of things. I felt like I could be myself with her, and it was a great feeling. When I got home, I looked at the new clothes and wig I had bought. I was excited to wear them next time I went out. I felt happy and a little more confident about being myself. After the fun day with Sarah, I started to feel more confident. Sarah and I texted a lot, and she invited me to go out again. This time, she suggested we go clubbing, just like the first night we met. I was excited and a bit nervous, but I wanted to go. I decided to wear the new clothes I had bought with Sarah. I chose a pretty green dress that fit me really well. It made me feel good about myself. I also wore the wig we picked out. It was long and wavy, and I really liked how it looked on me. Before leaving, I did my makeup carefully. I used the tips Sarah had shown me at the mall. I felt proud of how I looked. I was still nervous about going out, but I was also happy to be spending time with Sarah and our new friends. The club was busy with lots of people dancing and having fun. The music was loud and the lights were flashing all different colors. Sarah and our friends were already there. They waved at me when I walked in. We all started dancing together. It was really fun, and I felt like I belonged there. People smiled at me, and some even said I looked nice. That made me feel happy and accepted. As the night went on, more people joined us. One guy in particular started dancing with me. He was nice and told me I looked beautiful. I blushed, but kept dancing. It felt good to get attention like that. We danced for a long time, and he was really kind. We talked a bit over the loud music. He asked for my phone number, and I gave it to him. He smiled and said he would call me. I felt excited, but also a little scared. I had never had a guy interested in me like that before. After a while, the guy had to leave. He gave me a friendly wave goodbye. I kept dancing with Sarah and the others, feeling happy and a bit surprised by what had happened. When the night was over, Sarah and I walked out of the club together. She told me she was proud of me for being brave and going out. I felt proud too. I went home that night feeling different. It was nice to know that someone thought I was pretty, even with my size. I started to think that maybe I could be happy being myself, no matter what others at work or anywhere else said. In my room, I changed back into my regular clothes. I thought about the guy from the club and wondered if he would really call me. I hoped he would. A few days after the night at the club, my phone buzzed with a new message. It was from the guy I met at the club, the one who had danced with me. His name was Jack, and he wanted to meet up. I was surprised and nervous, but I said yes. We decided to meet at a coffee shop. I wore one of the new dresses I had bought, a soft blue one with little flowers on it. I felt pretty in it. I did my makeup just like I had learned and put on the wig that made me feel really good. When I arrived at the coffee shop, Jack was already there. He smiled when he saw me and said I looked nice. I thanked him, feeling shy but happy. We ordered our drinks and sat down to talk. Jack was really easy to talk to. He told me about his job and his hobbies. I listened and shared a little about myself, but not too much. I was still scared to tell him about my real life, about the construction work and the teasing. After our coffee, Jack asked if I wanted to go for a walk. We walked around the park, talking and laughing. It was a sunny day, and I felt really comfortable with him. As we walked, I started to recognize him. My heart skipped a beat when I realized he worked at the same construction site as me. He was one of the guys who had teased me. I didn't know what to do. I was scared he would find out who I really was and make fun of me. But I didn't say anything. I just kept talking and laughing with him. He was so different now, kind and friendly. I wondered if he would still like me if he knew the truth. When it was time to go home, Jack said he had a great time and wanted to see me again. I was happy, but also worried. I didn't know if I should tell him the truth or not. I went home feeling a mix of emotions. It was nice to have someone like Jack who liked me, but I was scared of what would happen if he found out who I was at work. The next time I met Jack, I was really nervous. I wore my favorite dress, the green one that made me feel really pretty. I did my makeup carefully and wore the wig that I liked so much. We met at a small cafe. Jack was smiling and happy to see me. We ordered our drinks and started talking. I was really worried about telling him the truth, but I knew I had to do it. After we talked for a bit, I took a deep breath. I told Jack that I had something important to say. I explained to him that I also worked in construction and that I was one of the guys he had teased at work. I waited, scared of what he would say. Jack looked really surprised. He didn't say anything for a few moments. Then he started to apologize. He said he was sorry for teasing me at work and that he didn't know it was me. I was relieved and happy that he was sorry. Jack said he liked spending time with me and that it didn't matter who I was at work. I felt a big weight lift off my shoulders. After that day, Jack and I started hanging out more. We went to movies, walked in the park, and even went shopping together. It was a lot of fun, and I felt really happy. Jack also started to change at work. He didn't tease me anymore. Instead, he was friendly and nice. It was a big change, and I was glad to see him being kinder. One day, I decided to go to work dressed as my true self. I was really scared, but I wanted to be brave. Jack was there to support me. When I walked in, everyone was surprised, but they didn't say anything mean. They just went back to work. That day felt really special. I was being myself, and it felt good. Jack was by my side, and I knew I had a friend who liked me for who I was. After work, Jack and I went out for ice cream. We talked and laughed. I felt really happy and lucky to have a friend like Jack. As time went on, things at work got better. The guys stopped teasing me, and some even started talking to me more. It felt good to be accepted. Jack and I became really good friends. We did lots of fun things together. Sometimes we went out to eat at cool places. Other times we just hung out and watched movies. It was always a good time with Jack. One day, I decided to do something brave. I went to work dressed as my true self, the way I really felt inside. I wore a pretty dress and did my makeup just right. I was nervous, but I wanted to show everyone the real me. When I walked into work, everyone was surprised. I could see them looking at me, but no one said anything mean. They just smiled and said hello. It felt amazing to be myself and be accepted by my coworkers. Throughout the day, some of my coworkers came up to me and said nice things. They told me I looked good, and they were happy to see me so happy. It made me feel really good inside. Jack was there too. He was really proud of me for being so brave. He helped me feel safe and happy at work. We spent the day working together, laughing and talking like always. At lunchtime, we sat with some other guys from work. They asked me questions about my clothes and makeup, and I answered them. It was nice to talk about the things I liked and have them listen and understand. After work, Jack and I went out to celebrate. We went to a nice place for dinner. We talked about how much things had changed and how happy we were. It was a really special night. In the weeks that followed, things at work stayed good. The guys were nice to me, and I felt like I was just another part of the team. I even went to work dressed as myself more often. Everyone was used to it now, and it felt normal. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out Patreon for a lot more content and early access to YouTube videos.